All right, so I did a response to Prince Solomon's and Sincere's video, "Evil White Patriarchy," and they did a video where they pretty much telling black men to hop off of the idea of patriarchy because it won't work for the black community or whatever. And I just gave my input, not necessarily what was in the video, but what's not, and how they missed out on, nature. They ignored the fact that men operate off incentives. If there's no incentive, they don't operate, and they ignore the biology of women and their hypergamous nature. I said in the video that it's probably more of an argument for some type of a black structure, simply based on the complaints that black women have about what's not being done and what's not being provided, because those things aren't going to be done or provided in a system where the men view the women as equals. But I talk about that in that video. I can't fit it on this channel. It's like 40 minutes long, I think, and I'm in YouTube prison, I guess, right now. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's like I be having ideas for videos and I want to go in, and then boom, I upload a video from like 10 years ago was flagged, so I can't, operate like I want to. So I got the backup channel. I'm gonna put the link to their video in this video and my other channel in the description. But basically, I do talk about that. I got another video where I pretty much talk about I give an example that would have went with this video, because I'm responding to the whole Zaza and Griff thing with Dr. Boyce, their video on patriarchy, and just that whole dialogue was popular right now on, I guess you want to call it, Black YouTube. But I do have a response, a fuller response to that video. I think some things I did miss. I missed how even black feminists have complaints about what's not being done and what's not being provided. Of course, they don't think it all the way out and understand, like, this is what you need. And I mentioned Jamila Lemieux, but I didn't finish the point in that video. But she was on HuffPost, whatever, complaining about white girls and appropriation and all that. But it was just funny how she kept saying that white women get this promotion, they get this validation, and then when we do something and then we get no love, but when they do it, it gets blown out of proportion. That's because they have a structure and they're promoting all that stuff, but they have men who are collectively ahead of the women and give them those things. But it's like, it's funny how they don't make that connection. Like they have the same complaints that some black women who claim to be traditional, right? They have the same complaints of what's not being done, what's not being provided, yet they don't get it. And I get why Prince and Sincere's video, they're young. I assume they both under 30 or whatever, and they come from the generation where everything's promoted on television is, egalitarian and 50-50, and there's no defined gender roles and all this other nonsense. That's what's being promoted every day, whether it's in education, in school. The military just said, we might be starting to drive chicks too. All that, like, it's getting real right now as far as the promotion of this stuff. And still, if you want certain things done, it's just not going to happen from that system, from that viewpoint. It's just not. Like, if they don't, you can't have men view you as an equal, yet, and also place you in a protective class with children. It don't work like that. That's one thing I didn't mention in my video. I pointed out, their video is all negative about patriarchy and how it's an evil white tool used to destroy us. But they ignore, like, that there are white women, white feminists who are backing up and saying, like, damn, we went too far, and we don't like the men we created. Go check out my video, the type of men that feminists create, and they're upset, right? Not only that, but you got white, MGTOW guys and stuff like that are saying, like, yo, we think a patriarchal system is oppressive to us. We don't want to do all that hard work and heavy lifting either, right? We don't want to risk our financial freedom and all that on children and marriage and not having them right. So the idea that you're going to do a video about, how black patriarchy doesn't work, which I don't understand why it was done in the first place, due to the fact that it's not a lot of black men on YouTube preaching that or talking about that. Like I said, most of us, we look at the model of the Cosby Show, where they both were working. It wasn't about roles and positions. They shared those things. They had an egalitarian relationship on the Cosby Show, right? It wasn't no traditional relationship. After the third season, when she was out of law school, and was a lawyer, it wasn't like that at all. he did most of the child rearing and stuff like that. So, and most of our shows are like that. They're either the woman had to work, like from back in the day, um, the good times or whatever, like where he couldn't work because of institutional racism and whatnot, and he didn't have opportunities, and she did. We had those shows, and then we had, the standard, which is the Cosby Show. So, again, like I understand why it sounds good on paper, why it looks good, but I don't think it's practical. And I don't think that. I mean, that might work for the individual relationship, but as a structure, and when it comes to reality, that men just don't subscribe to female leadership, the same way black feminists don't subscribe to male leadership, things aren't gonna get done, and things will be the same. And it is what it is. But I don't see how you can do an entire video. Their video is what, an hour almost, and it's, again, you don't have to address the women because that's not the focus of your video. But I just don't understand how you could, like, are you telling the women who have complaints to black men for what they're not doing not to have those complaints? Because the things that they want has to come out of some type of structure. It's not going to come out of thin air. Men aren't going to do the work, So it's like, are you going to tell the children who look at those structures and see that, like, you don't deserve this because we're going to sacrifice that in the name of equality, in the name of, I want you to respect me as your equal. So because of that, you need to be out here in a dirty ditch digging too, because it's not going to happen if they're not in the trenches digging too, right? Like, that has to be understood. I don't know. It seemed like Prince understands that movements and things start with men building and doing things, but again, he doesn't subscribe to any type of patriarchy either, from what I'm gathering in the video. And that's, a dialogue or a debate that I've been going on with a while on, why that is or what it looks like. And, in my opinion, even the egalitarian relationship, they end up being, they turn into matriarchies because those type of men who are cool with that setup usually, which I said in the other video, lack a certain drive to do certain things, to provide certain things, to build certain things, because it's like the incentive is kind of lost in that. So, I don't know. That's just my shorter version of that video, or introduction to it. It's going to be on the other channel. Subscribe to that channel. Probably going to do, if I got a short video I can do in 15 minutes, I'll do it here. But if not, it'll be over there. But this is just a response, or just an introduction and a response, partly to Sincere and Prince's video on evil white patriarchy, right?
The experience though of talking to a lot of older white women, and these older white women, you would think later on in life they would be set. But as a result of sexism and their mentality being, I need to be a wife and mother and give my whole entire self to the man, then they get married, and when that don't work out, they get another man so they don't get broke and homeless, right? Okay, well, guess what? At the end of the day, they all end up broken homeless anyway, because the men go get another younger woman or whatever. Child support going to run out because all the kids going to keep growing until they grown, okay? So then what? And they don't have anything to fall back on. And so I see those issues, 16 and pregnant. Those are all white girls. So I see white girls still having the same issue when in terms of mentality that I'm seeing with black girls happening too. And that's why I'm saying it's a sexism issue too that we have, and just our mentality about sex is just jacked up. And I think that's because we've adopted that from the European. I don't believe that in our motherland that y'all would be so disrespectful to us. I think you would fear us, because I think you would not want this beef with us. You feel me? Like, you wouldn't want to have to combat with a white woman, with a black woman, if we were in our natural habitat. And, you wouldn't be able to get away with it the way that you're able to get away with it here.
Right.
Ain't nobody. This is how they treat women here.
I totally